With this, I now request Mr. Vikas Singh, President SCBA, to kindly address this August gathering.
Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Justice Bhushan Gavai, Honorable Judges of this court present here today, Honorable the Attorney General of India, the learned Solicitor General of India, Mr. Hariharan, President of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, President of SCORA, Office Bearers of SCORA, Rahul Kaushik, our Vice President, Pragya Baghel, our Secretary, and other Executive Committee members of the SCBA, Executive Committee members of the SCORA. It's a matter of proud privilege for me to do this felicitation function for Justice Gavai. Justice Gavai was very reluctant to accept this felicitation function because he felt that better occasion will be when he demits office and I should speak about what he has done for the bar and for the institution rather than speak when he's entering office. I think he was a little apprehensive that I'll be making a lot of demands in this felicitation and because of which he thought that it may put pressure upon him. But I must tell all of you today that making demand on a public platform like this is done when you are not sure that the Chief Justice will be responsive to your problems. If you are getting a response from the Chief Justice on every issue concerning the bar, then I don't see why a public platform should be used by me to make any demand. And hence I have decided that I will not make any demand, especially in view of the interactions that I've had with the Honorable Chief Justice of India since he has taken oath and the issues that we have discussed relating to the bar. And very soon I'm quite hopeful that you will all get to know some very good news concerning the bar, where you will all come to know in the real sense that bar is an equal stakeholder of the institution. Up till now, Chief Justices have been saying that bar is an equal stakeholder in the institution, but it is mostly lip service. For the first time, we have a Chief Justice who actually means it and who actually gives that same kind of respect and concern with regard to the affairs of the bar. This is my last tenure as the President of the bar. The first tenure was a very, I would say, difficult tenure. In that tenure, we had a press conference by 4 judges of the Supreme Court. Unprecedented thing happened. They came out and they had some comments to make with regard to the functioning of the Supreme Court. And because of the press conference, there was an expectation of how bar should react to that press conference, and we accordingly immediately called an executive committee meeting and we discussed in detail. We passed a resolution. We made a press conference. Some of the important things which we said in the press conference were that there should be a roster system, there should be less and less arbitrariness in the allocation of matters to judges. And the most important, that the allocation by roster should be determined by a collegiality, by discussion rather than imposing your own mind. Most of that demand was accepted. We had also asked for a full court meeting to discuss the issues with the learned 4 judges had raised. Most of our issues had been accepted that year, but unfortunately not implemented in true spirit. We have seen thereafter Chief Justices using their power of master of roster to assign individual matters, which was never the intention. Once there is a transparent roster, then the matters will go by the roster for the category of matters which are to be assigned, and individual assignment should not happen. But I can assure you that whatever I have heard of Chief Justice Gavai and whatever I have seen him while functioning as the Chief Justice of India, he only considers himself as one amongst equals, and he only considers that whatever he does, it should be with collegiality, with discussion, with taking his brothers with him, which is what the institution is all about. I mean, it's not a one-man institution. And I congratulate Justice Gavai for that. My next two tenures, 21, 22, 22, 23 was basically the COVID times, and we were literally firefighting to keep the wheels of justice moving. We started the online system as a method to keep the wheels of justice moving. Most of us were not equipped to do the online system. Even now, I find a lot of high court judges are not equipped to, they are not conversant with the online system. They still want the physical files. A lot of our lawyers are not conversant with the online system, and accordingly, it was a difficult time for the institution. We had lawyers who were without work. The bar had to, apart from giving full cooperation to keep the wheels of justice moving, we also had to take care of our members. Members were in difficulty, members were facing the medical problems, they were facing financial problems. But as a bar, we rose to the occasion and we could collect sufficient corpus to distribute amongst our members, especially the ones who didn't have any money to handle their daily needs, their rentals, their school fees, etc. And I'm happy to say that that period went off because of the active involvement of the bar in taking care of its members. During my third tenure, there was an issue with regard to the chamber block construction. We were advised by the then Chief Justice, Justice Lalit, that since it's a government order, it can't be done by the Chief Justice on the administrative side, so you better file a petition. In that petition also there was a demand for making that Bhagwan Das Road as a part of the Supreme Court complex. Justice Lalit issued notice, but the next Chief Justice would not list the matter. 6 times it got listed, not taken up. 8 times mentioned to be listed, not listed. My third tenure was coming to an end. I could not contest for the 4th time immediately, and I knew if I don't escalate this issue, this land will be lost completely. So I actually escalated it only for the limited purpose that I want a hearing. I don't want any special treatment. I don't think the bar can be asking for any special treatment than any ordinary citizen of this country. But the bar definitely can be expecting to be treated equally like an average citizen of the country. If the average citizen's petition has to be listed, then why not the bar petition be listed? Anyway, the confrontation led to a call for a general body. But before we could call for a general body, the matter got listed. And a judgment was delivered. For the first time, and I'm happy to say that in my tenure, in spite of that confrontation and ultimately the problems that I had to face because of the confrontation, a judgment was delivered. And the judgment said that bar is an equal stakeholder, and whenever any infrastructure development is to be done in the Supreme Court, then the bar is to be consulted. Now, this is the law of the land. Then a museum is constructed. The bar is not consulted. And bar is not the only people not consulted. I mean, there are people, other stakeholders who should have been consulted. Nobody is consulted. A high security area is utilized for the purpose of a museum, spending, 20-30 crores of rupees without any tender, and there nobody can come. There is no visitor who can come because that's a high security area. People enter there for their matters. Lawyers are there to do their matters. They don't have the time to visit a museum. So there is no footfall. And that museum was constructed at a place which is the need of the hour of the bar. When we go, there is no lunch room for us. I've been crying for a lunch room for so. And sir, this is not a demand. This is just a history that I'm narrating. So we don't have a proper lunch room. We don't have, in library 2, there is no place for us to sit. People stand. Seniors also stand. They don't have any place to sit there. So this is how the third tenure ended. But another good thing which happened in my third tenure was that Justice Gavai was part of the building committee, and when the new building was to be come by then immediately, so we were consulted, and there was a decision to have a nice, decent office for the president of the bar in the new building. And we were also shown by Justice Gavai, and I remember Justice Suryakant, both of us, we sat with them and we were shown that plan that year, that this is the new building which is coming up and this is how you'll get a new executive committee room, a president's office, a secretary's office, etc. In fact, Justice Gavai remarked that your office will be as big as the office of the Chief Justice of India, which I thought is appropriate because the President of the Bar is a very important authority as far as the institution is concerned. When foreign dignitaries meet the Chief Justice of India, they want to meet the President of the Bar also, and there is no place where the President can host them.